Hello, my name is Linda Grimes. I'm the Managing Director for the San Pedro Waterfront Arts District. And I welcome you to the September Art Walk Tour. We have a really special night, to a bunch of guests to present to you tonight. Gallery Azul, who will go first, and then Gregorio Luke, which I know you're all waiting to hear, and then we're going to end up with Grand Street Arts. So I'd like to turn this over to Ray and Cora from Gallery Azul. Ray and Cora, as some people might know, are the co-chairs of the San Pedro Waterfront Arts District, and they own Gallery Azul, and they're broadcasting to you from their basement.
Hey everybody, thank you for celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with us. My name's Ray Vasquez.
And I'm Dr. Cora Ramirez Vasquez.
And if you guys are just meeting us for the first time tonight, Cora and I were both artists, and Gallery Azul started off as our live workspace. And we decided to open our doors in November of 2006.
All right, so are we gonna show?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna share our screen and start showing our gallery space. So we decided to open our doors in November of 2006. And we introduced ourselves to San Pedro with our Dia de los Muertos art show, which was a show to celebrate life and those that have passed away.
And our goal as a gallery was to provide a venue and a platform for working artists to collaborate and showcase contemporary and cultural artworks.
So we are a multicultural gallery. We believe in diversity, and that's why we have themed group shows. Our group shows are further an opportunity to connect with the artist community, offer opportunities to emerging artists, and offer a place to network and share ideas.
So this is the entrance of our new space. We've always been located on the corner of 8th and Pacific in the beautiful Delta building, and we've been there now for 15 years. So this is our current location. So if you come into Gallery Azul, this is the opening to our studio.
So we're a small gallery with a big talent.
So tonight we're going to have 4 different artists. And, you know, as artists, you know, we are commentators that allow us to say things through our art that have the potential to expose some of the important issues of the day, and also to let people see something in a different way or perspective.
So today's presentation for Hispanic Heritage will present Hispanic artists who are also activists.
So from the left, we have Enrique Chu, we have Eric Almanza, we have Hector Silva, and Mbr Young. And this is the main gallery, the main wall of our gallery. This is how it would look like if you guys came to the show. And we'll start off with Enrique Chu.
So, well, we're gonna begin with a quote by Enrique Chu. His quote, "El arte es una oportunidad de decir cosas que trascienden." So translation, art is an opportunity to say things that transcend. So Enrique was born in Guadalajara, Mexico, and he lived in Long Beach for a few years. That's when we met him. He currently lives in Tijuana, Mexico. And Enrique describes himself as a painter, a social activist, and a motivational speaker. His work's been exhibited internationally and is part of a few permanent exhibitions worldwide. He's very involved and recognized as a figure of the arts in the Latino community.
When we first met Enrique in 2007, he was the director of C1D Gallery, and we had been open for about a year when we met Enrique. And we soon collaborated with him with NFIA Foundation, the National Federation Foundation of Independent Artists. And that's one thing about Enrique Chu that impressed us, was he was always a community artist and activist. He would always bring people together, whether it was for an art show or working with children to get them to paint. And we're gonna go on to his latest project that he's working on. And go ahead.
So in December of 2016, Enrique took on the border wall, and his goal was to paint connected works that span over 600 miles, making it the world's longest mural. He titled it the Brotherhood Mural. And this is a work in progress still. And it's the largest social and cultural movement in northern Mexico. So Enrique decided to address the division of the border wall by creating an opportunity for unity. And his Brotherhood Mural, you know, as you can see, Enrique, they're working, has received wide recognition and multiple awards and appearances in documentaries, television programs, and magazines. His mural has brought in people from all over the world to collaborate on this piece, which is a demonstration of the unity that it was meant to provide.
Right. And just considering the situation and the current times that we're in, you know, just to have Enrique out there, you know, bridging communities together, building bridges rather than, you know, having this wall that divides us, and he's turning it into an art piece.
So if you're interested in Enrique's work, enriquechuarte.com. He's got a Facebook page and an Instagram. You can contact him if you want to be part of the mural. I'm pretty sure he'll welcome you to be part of that.
Thank you, Enrique. So our next artist is Mbr Young. This is her painting one of her murals, and her quote, "Open your eyes to a world beyond your own."
So Mbr is a Long Beach artist who's created a body of artwork manifesting in collages, drawings, paintings, and public artworks more recently. You know, she's trying to make her work more accessible to the community. So this one here, she's working on a mural here in the city of Long Beach. So she exhibited with us at first in 2008. And since then, she's been part of many of our group exhibitions. And then she also had a solo show, Me, You, We, in 2017. Her artwork is she aims to inspire, celebrate, and elevate repressed Indigenous, First Nations, and Native cultures and women of color. Her works also focus on matters of immigration, the uprising to justice, equality, and complete freedom of Black lives.
And whether she's, you know, painting a mural, large scale outside, or whether she's doing a collage or a painting, you know, she's really, if you look at the elements of art and everything that she puts together, just how harmonious she blends her colors and how she uses shapes and imagery throughout her artwork. And these are some of the collages that she's been doing in her recent works with kind of a halo.
So when you look at her artwork, she's been using a lot of halos for her figures. And when you look at the symbolism of halos, typically, a halo signifies that a person is blessed by the divine, you know, or a saintly person, an enlightened figure, or a celestial being. So here you see a universal symbol of sanctity of some sort. So she's using that to combine that with these people and her imagery. So here's the Hauling Water in Chiapas, Mexico. And I like this piece, one of my favorite pieces. And when you see this piece, the migration of three blessed beings, and you know, you feel the feeling there is a feeling of loneliness and a long journey. The stars, you know, they're amazing. They give us a sense that the journey is eternal but hopeful. But also they guide up to the north. You know, when people are migrating up here, they're going north to El Norte for a better opportunity.
So here's a piece that she's worked with, and this was actually an organization called Amplifier that Mbr has been collaborating with, and it's this kind of grassroots movement, and it just allows community to come in and address social change, and they have all these different campaigns, whether it's through immigration or whether it's COVID-19, voting rights. Amplifier is just, it's you know, worldwide now. And she had some artwork that she collaborated with, and that's her piece that was displayed in New York on one of the hospitals in Manhattan.
And we have our own Mbr here in San Pedro, California as well. So if you go on Gaffey, you know, 15th and Gaffey is one of the electrical boxes, and the other one, the Del Taco on 5th and Gaffey. So we're very fortunate enough to have her here, made possible by the San Pedro Waterfront Arts District. So yeah.
She's very active in the community, and thank you, Mbr.
And then I think we have next her. And if you're interested in her work, she has her website, mbreyoung.com. She has an Instagram and a Facebook also, so you can see all the stuff she's doing and all the murals she's working on and any upcoming shows. The next one is Hector Silva. So Hector will start off with his quote: "If no one's trying to censor you, then you're probably not doing anything that important." So this is his quote that he works by. He was born in Jalisco, Mexico, and moved to the U.S. at the age of 17. He began drawing in the late 20s, and he discovered his own talent. He's a self-taught artist based in LA who's been producing work for more than 30 years. And he exhibited with us in 2007 and has been part of many of our shows as well. So,
right. And most people recognize Hector in his beautiful graphite technique. You know, when he first started doing graphite, you know, there was just graphite on white paper. You can see the graphite when you turned in the light and just see just the pure graphite on paper and just how soft the figures were. And then he started incorporating little bits of color here and there, like you can see in Frida's headdress and the flowers. Oops.
no, that's a,
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's going back now.
okay. All right, so
here's one of his.
yeah, so a lot of it, when you look at Hector's work, you know, it describes his work. He describes his work as an exploration of themes related to cultural identity, eroticism, and beauty. Of course, current events as well. He presents these social portraits of Latinos, and specifically Latino queers, that are rarely highlighted. So his art, he wants to make it accessible and inviting, and he wants to engage the viewer. You know, he wants to have a conversation about this piece. You know, like, what do you think is going on here? What's the political statement he's making? And anything else that's triggered for people. Okay. So, okay.
Right.
So here we have G.I. Jose, and it's a calavera, which is representative of Dia de los Muertos. This day, you know, of course, is a celebration of life lived. We remember those that have passed, and we talk about their gifts. So here, remembering the soldiers that have fought wars so that we have rights that we have today. That was, you know, we see them in memorials and sacrifices. Hector adds an element of Hispanic, the Hispanic soldier, Jose. Instead of G.I. Joe, we have G.I. Jose. And if I severe to ask why Jose, who is Jose? You know, what was his part in this battle? What did he get out of it? And what did he give for us? Okay, here we have his vote or die. This is a political statement about voting. He's been pretty active right now with the current atmosphere. And here, once again, another quote by him. I think protest comes when people feel something is very wrong with society. Art helps people think these things through. Art gives us imagery that can challenge the way things are. Art can also give us alternative possibilities, different ways of imagining the world. Art is very useful in changing the world. So Hector, of course, you know, has been recognized by the City of LA Mayor's Office, the County of LA Board of Supervisors, and the State of California's House of Reps for his contributions to the communities. And his work is collected internationally. And if you want some of his work, artbyhectorsilva.com and Facebook. Also, you can follow him.
Okay. And now we're moving on to our last artist of the evening, Eric Almanza. Almanza is a native of Los Angeles and is currently maintaining his studio in Long Beach. He received a Bachelor's of Arts in Art Practice from the University of Berkeley, holds a teaching credential, and has received his MFA in figurative painting from the Laguna College of Art and Design. Eric uses the phrase crafted through the lens of a Chicano, his way of creating art and making connections between his environment and his culture. The themes of Eric's work over the past several years have consisted of immigration, the criminalization of immigrants, and the border wall that separates Mexico from the US. So here we have a painting by Eric that was influenced by Rockwell's The Problem We All Live With. And he makes it current by showing the little girl now being marched out by Border Patrol agents depicting the criminalization of immigrants. Eric entitles it, The Hate We All Live With. It's a powerful statement, and it makes us think about culture climate and systemic racism. Here's another one of his recent works, the border wall with Mexico, and it shows a wall on fire and graffiti. And if you notice this symbol that he has, it's kind of like a dream catcher. This is a symbol that Eric created, and a quote by him: "He believes every great resistance needs some kind of logo." This one's called "With This Fire, a Rebellion Will Rise."
Here we have one of his pieces for this is a commemorative tap card that his piece was chosen to have. So he's one of the artists that also has part of the Metro, selected for the public art for the Metro. So if you have a chance to get one of these little cards, they're collectibles, you know, but he's, yeah, so he depicts a lot of more ethnic portraits.
Some of the work of Eric Almanza, and if you want to see more of Eric Almanza and his artwork, and he's all over LA and the greater California area. If you want to see some of his shows and past shows and the show that he had with us at Gallery Azul, here's his information.
All right.
So that's it for us. We just want to thank all our artists for allowing us to show their artwork tonight, and thank you guys for letting us to show you some of the work that we show in Gallery Azul.
And yeah, we'll be back in January 2021 with all new shows. And we have our website also, galleryazul.com. And we have a Instagram and a Facebook page. So, yeah, forgot to show that. So, like, yeah.
Well, thank you guys. It's an honor to serve with you on the Arts District Board, and I'm so thrilled that you decided to co-chair. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. And Mara will be back in a few weeks to repaint her DOT box. So moving on to Gregorio Luke. Gregorio is an old friend, and Gregorio, don't forget to unmute yourself. I don't know if you remember last year, he did a series of 4 lectures with us called Quattro at Cabrillo at the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium. And today, we didn't really know what he was going to talk about. So, Gregorio, if you can unmute your microphone, and we'll sit back and relax and listen to what you have to say. Bottom corner, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, can I?
There you go. Thank you.
Am I?
Fantastic.
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to be here. I love San Pedro, and I'm very excited to see all this new work on themes that are so important, like in Galería Azul. I was very moved by these artists, and all the artistic ferment that is in San Pedro is really amazing. And today I'm going to do something that I very rarely have an opportunity to do, because most of my lectures tend to be about a career of an artist. And so I don't have the opportunity to stop in one work and study it in detail, because I have to cover their entire lifestyle. And so now they often ask me, which is your favorite mural? And that's always a difficult question. I really don't know if this is my favorite mural, but it is one of the murals I love the most. And I like it because it brings together so many worlds. The world we are in right now, and the world we dream, the history and the present. And it is a masterpiece created by Diego Rivera in 1947. Diego Rivera is one of Mexico's best known artists. He has a very solid education. Sometimes young artists ask me, what do you think I should do to prepare myself then I like to tell them, well, do what Diego Rivera did, which was basically start with a very solid technical foundation, an artist that completely conquered academic art in Mexico and the School of San Carlos, and then went to Europe, to Spain first, and then to Paris. And in Paris, he transformed his work. He became a cubist and a friend of Pablo Picasso. And I think that he is perhaps the most important artist in determining that muralism would become the Mexican art of the 20th century. He was in this terrible depression. He had lost a son, and he was tired of, like many artists, working basically for other artists or for a few collectors. And so one day he met a doctor that had been in the trenches in World War I. And this doctor, called Deli Fauré, told him, paint for the people. And Diego Rivera said, well, yes, that's what we all want to do. But how can I do that? And so this doctor tells Rivera to go to Italy and to see the murals of the Renaissance. And Diego Rivera spends 18 months, and he basically redraws all the murals of the Renaissance. He learns all about the fresco technique. He acquires all this skill, and with that knowledge, he comes back to Mexico and does murals that are so powerful that they change the way Mexico sees itself and the way Mexico is seen in the world. Diego Rivera was married to Frida Kahlo, also a very important artist. And this is a cartoon about them. When Diego and Frida were alive, Frida was known as Diego's wife, and now more and more Diego is known as Frida's husband. So this mural that I'm going to share with you is an autobiographical mural that encapsulates the entire history of Mexico. It's all what this man could see and dream, and the exquisite memory that he could basically capture all these important figures in Mexico's history and their interconnections and the architecture and what the candies they ate look like and what the fruits, all of this is in this magnificent mural called Sunday Afternoon in the Alameda Park. So in the lower level, you see all these people that are dreaming, the dreamers. The mural can be basically divided in three parts. The first, it's a mural that, in spite of its beauty, was savagely attacked. One of the phrases that Diego had included in the mural, and we will get to that in a moment, was a quote from El Nigromante, a Mexican poet, that said, God does not exist. And so the bishop refused to bless the building. They had it covered for 8 years. And of course, if you wanted to see it, you had to bribe the waiter. It was in a place called El Hotel del Prado. And so he would give you a peek, and then they would close again. So I guess returning to that artist that Galeria Azul is presenting, no, if you don't create a scandal and censorship, you're probably not saying anything important. And certainly Diego Rivera created that controversy with so much of his work. So the first part of the mural are the memories of his childhood from 1895 to 1910. And so these are people that he met. Now, this is the first part of the mural. And what is so wonderful is that you see the people that are dreaming or standing or sitting, they're all in the front. And then you have what they're dreaming about. And even behind that, you have the architecture of the time. And it all connects with these wonderful trees and these colors, the yellows, you know, that are so characteristic of sleep. So there is three central characters in this first part. One is Jose Maria Vigil, who was the director of the library, the man with the hat in the black. Then Guillermo de Landa y Escandón, that was the governor of Mexico City. And then giving us his back is Jesus Luján, a patron of the artists. So the first dream that we see is Vigil's. And he dreams of Mexico's past. So you can see here in the figures that he is dreaming, you can see Hernán Cortés, the conqueror of Mexico. Then you can see the man with the beard and the mustache and the glasses, Luis de Velasco, a viceroy. And then on top you see Zumárraga, who is the founder of the Mexican Inquisition, the first Archbishop of Mexico. And above that, you see all the victims of the Inquisition. This truly horrible institution. You see this priest in the name of Jesus with the cross in his hand, torturing this woman that was a Jew. She was a beautiful Jewish woman called Mariana Violante de Carvajal. And the Inquisition, because she was Jewish, condemned her to walk naked through the streets where they beat her to death. And then when she got finally to the doors of the Inquisition, they completed the murder, and then they burned her so that she became ashes. And the idea of the priests was that her memory be completely disappeared. And this sentence, this horrifying sentence, was carried out the 25th of March of 1601. And so in this mural, Diego Rivera brings her back to life. And he also paints another victim of the church, Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, one of Mexico's greatest poets that was also silenced by the church. So this kind of ugly, repressive church, you see, with all these people that are tortured and killed. And interestingly, they made the victims of the Inquisition wear these like hats in a point. And I was shocked to see that in China, in the hideous cultural revolution promoted by Mao Zedong and his young thugs that basically destroyed the culture that existed and persecuted people. And interestingly, they made them wear a similar cone head than the Inquisition. So you see, that is the dream, the history dream. But meanwhile, you have the little pickpocket that is going to steal a handkerchief, and you see he's dreaming of the meal, you know, with a torta, and you see tortillas and chicken right above his head that he's going to buy when he sells the handkerchief. Then to your left, you see this old man with a white beard and a hat dreaming when he was young and he danced and he was in love, and you see above him the dancing. And this happened right when Mexico, when the US invaded Mexico and stole half of its territory. Half of Mexico was stolen by the United States, including California, Texas. And so there you see Santana giving the keys of Mexico to the American General Winfield Scott, who is in your upper right corner. And again, this combination of the larger dreams and the specific dreams. Here you see a woman underneath in the bottom that is covering her face in black. And she's dreaming when she was young and she had a son with an American soldier that you see him above, a blonde son with him. The Americans wore these green coats. So the word gringo comes from green coat, green, a short. Then you see a conservative with a brown hat dreaming of Maximilian and Carlota, that were these noble aristocrats imposed by the French in Mexico. And then when you look at Maximilian and Carlota, you see right behind Carlota, you see this Colonel Rodriguez that was Carlota's lover, with whom she had a son called Maxime Weygart. And this Colonel Rodriguez was somehow related to Diego Rivera. So you see the lover of Carlota in the back. And then right next to Maximilian, you see Miguel Miramon, the Mexican general that would die with Maximilian, and the French military leader Bazaine, all together in that image. And then on the opposite side, right there, you see the old drunk who is dreaming of the many times that he drank pulque, and you see the bottles of tequila. And then he was dreaming when he was young, and he was a chinaco. Chinaco was the soldiers of the Mexican Republic that fought against the French. And the larger dream of him is the dream of the liberals, of Juarez, and those people that separate the church from the state in Mexico. The church owned everything in Mexico, like an octopus. And so Juarez basically separates the public sphere from the religious sphere. And here you see Juarez promoting the Constitution of 1857, the reform laws. And then right next to Juarez, to Benito Juarez, you see Ignacio Manuel Altamirano, El Zarco. And then you see the man with a white beard and white hair. He is Ignacio Ramirez El Nigromante. He was Mexico's first atheist and the first one to proclaim publicly God does not exist. And right next to him, you see Leandro Valle. This phrase is the reason that the mural was censored and covered until finally Diego replaced the phrase, God does not exist, from Academia de Letran, the place where that phrase had been pronounced. And then always he mixes the historical characters and the little vendors. You see the candies, and if you look at the candies, they're all exact. The little newspaper boys selling newspapers, the balloons, and then these exquisite caramels. And all of the caramels, all the candies are exactly like the ones that were eaten in that period. And you see Manuel Gutierrez Nájera, a poet, who is welcoming Martí. That's the first part of the mural. Now, the second part is basically incidents around the revolution. And so first you see the daughter of Porfirio Díaz, Lucecita Díaz, and the young wife of Porfirio Díaz, Carmen Romero Rubio. And as models, he used his daughter Ruth for Lucecita and Lupe for Carmen Romero. And then to your right, you see José Martí, the great Cuban revolutionary who lived sometime in Mexico. And then in the middle of the mural, right next to Martí, you see Diego Rivera as a boy holding hands with La Catrina, this figure created by José Guadalupe Posada. And she's wearing this snake that has feathers as a symbol of Quetzalcoatl. And then you see different characters of the Porfirio Díaz regime. And you see this Porfirio Díaz reelected himself like 30 years. But there was always this man, the one that is holding a hat, that was his faux opponent. His name is Nicolás Zúñiga Miranda. And so in his dream, Miranda is receiving the presidential band that is given to the Mexican presidents. And then you see Joaquín Rico Contoya, who did the first modern balloon flights in Mexico. So you see this man with his hat dreaming of when he was flying his balloon that was called República Mexicana, and he was waving a flag. And then you have El General Lobo Guerrero. This had been a man that had fought in the intervention, but then had gone crazy. And so he walked around in the park. The Alameda Park is Mexico's central park, where Diego Rivera used to go as a child. And so then the little kids gave him little shiny objects as medals, and he hanged them on his jacket. This one is La Revoltosa, a prostitute that Diego Rivera adored. And she is like an indigenous prostitute, and as a signal, they cut her face, as you can see in that image. And the final part of the mural, the third section, has to do with Mexico during and after the revolution. And so first you have the social causes for unrest. You see the wealthy, and then the policeman that is pushing away the poor people from the park. And then you see this young man that is dreaming of revenge. So this dream of revenge it can be larger and it evolves into the Zapatista dream, the dream of revolution. So you see these young people, and then you see Emiliano Zapata and his banners, the dream of revolution. And then in the back, you see the band, the Alameda Central del Park has a band where people play. So he mixes all the dreams and the reality and what he's remembering. And again, you see the seller of these reguiletes, that are these toys that move with the wind, the fruit vendor, and then the torta seller. And here, Diego Rivera paints himself again, eating a torta. And then he paints all his family. And you see his daughter, Ruth, his daughter, Lupe, with his grandson, Juan Pablo. And then this figure to your right that many considered like an evil, corrupt thing, but I spoke with the grandson of Diego Rivera last year, and he was telling me that in reality, it is his father. Diego's daughter married a son of Gomez Morin, conservative politician. So Diego Rivera was not too happy. And so he paints them in this kind of negative light. And then from his family and a worker in the middle, you see the dream of democracy. And you see the ballot. And then you see the allegiance of Mujica, a progressive politician. And you see the peasants and the workers, and the hands that are stopping the guns. And then you see the figure of Francisco I. Madero, Mexico's democratic president and martyred president. And he campaigned on the slogan, effective vote and no re-election. But right next to it, you see the betrayal. You see the dream of treason in the figures of Victoriano Huerta and El General Mondragón. And then you see the dream of corruption. The dream of violence and revenge, and the dream of corruption. And so in the dream of corruption, he would present a president that is, he says, he corrupt with all that money, caressing this woman, advised by the archbishop. And underneath him is the 1%ers, the multimillionaire, all with all the cash, and again, with this image of a woman that is fickle. You know? And so you see the dream of corruption that has done so much harm to Mexico and the world. So, and again, in the background, you see Bellas Artes, you see the Monument of Revolution, you see industry. So, in closing, I would just like to say, you know, that that in this mural, Diego Rivera erases the boundaries between his life and the life of his country, between reality and dream, and between the individual dreams and the collective ones. Everybody is here. The heroes and the villains, the liberal president Juarez, the democratic martyr Madero, the dictator Porfirio Diaz, the prostitute, the artists, the poets, the Flores Magón brothers, Posada, Frida, the good and the bad. And when looking at a mural like this, I am reminded of a phrase by the great Mexican poet, Carlos Pellicer, who was saying, when people paint on walls thousands of years old, like in Bonampak, or when they present themselves tempestuously in the fires of the earth, like in the murals of José Clemente Orozco, or when they're able to tell history as a genius like Diego Rivera, a volcanic faith in the human spirit shakes history. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gregorio. Your lectures are always informative, not only about the art, but the history that goes along with it. So I really appreciate your being here. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to Grand Street Arts, Annie Appel and Sylvia Ashkenazi. And Sylvia is a tango teacher and is from Argentina, and she has some things to talk about about Grand Street Art. So I'm going to give it to you to take away.
Hi, Linda. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, Linda. Thank you so much for inviting us tonight. Yes, we would love to talk about Grand Street Arts. Shall we start sharing the screen already, or?
Yes. Sure, go ahead.
Yes? Okay, so let me just share my screen. I'm going to start a PowerPoint presentation. And so Grand Street Arts is, let's see, boom. One moment, technical, here we go, because I want to also share the, okay. Okay, so this is us, Grand Street Arts, Sylvia and Annie, my partner in crime. And so we offer photography services by Annie Appel, and Tango San Pedro is, of course, tango classes, tango celebration of life, tango parties, dancing, socializing, bringing the community together. Performances, live music, and here we go. This is our building, the building where we now is Grand Street Arts, Tango San Pedro, Annie Appel Photography. We're going to talk about tango a little bit, but first I wanted to share the photo services by Annie, because without Annie, there's no tango. So it's two or nothing. No, really, without my partner, I will not have my tango studio. So, photo lab, printing, scanning, Photoshop, and restoration. Murals, yes. As you can see, this is a photo by
George
Whiteovich here in the neighborhood. We are hosting virtual galleries on our new website, grandstreetarts.com. Right now, we're featuring the amazing Argentine artist, Ana Marini Henson. So please visit the gallery and you will really enjoy this show. Ana has been in Los Angeles for a long time, but she's from Argentina. Yes, from Buenos Aires. Online on Zoom for group or private classes, workshops. Photo by Annie. You can see Annie there. You can see George. Now Tango San Pedro, okay, we offer classes normally. Other than COVID, we're gonna be back when this is over, of course. Right now I'm teaching couples, private classes for couples, so to keep it a little safer. Social dancing, milongas. Milonga is the gathering of dancers to dance. Nobody really dances tango at home by themselves. Tango is a social event. And so we've been hosting milongas in San Pedro for 10 years. And I hope you guys join us soon. It's really fun. It's really an elegant event. The Argentine tango is in close embrace. Tango started at the port of Buenos Aires, so I'm very happy that we are the port of Los Angeles offering this multicultural event or you know, how do you call it? A cultural phenomena. Exactly, that's what I was thinking. It was born from the immigrants in Buenos Aires. So we have to think about that as a, you know, it's a melting of African rhythms and European instruments playing instrumental instruments from, you know, like the piano, like the violin. It's really like a great fusion, and everybody can understand this music. Everybody can feel it in their hearts. Here's another photo of our social dance parties in our new studio, 1,500 square feet dedicated to tango only. And then we have photo, the lab and everything else. And here's our friend Robin in a beautiful tango pose. So if you want to know more about tango, you can visit our website, tangosanpedro.com. I forgot to say that the building is in 8th and Grand. Here in
Grand Street Arts.
Grand Street Arts, Tango San Pedro all together. And so next we're going to go to a video that shows me as in my follower role, because I can lead and follow, and anybody can lead and follow. There's no specific
Gender.
Gender. It's open to the you know, everybody can choose. So I think we're gonna start playing the video next.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching. There are some friends watching from Argentina, so
Hola.
just saying hola,
Hola.
to our friends. Okay, let me see. Oh, where is the cursor? Here we go.
And Grand Street Arts.
Yes.
Visit www.
Yeah, I made it short. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
That was wonderful. We really appreciate you being here and showing us some tango. I think a lot of people in San Pedro don't even know that this exists here. So thank you
I
so
want to make sure if everybody knows that this is what I was showing as a sample for dancing is anybody can do it. That's what I teach. It's social tango. It's not, you know, stage or everybody can dance, all ages, and so everybody's welcome to learn it.
well. Thank you.
Thank you.
This concludes our Armchair Artwalk for September, and we invite you back next month. We have some surprises, and thank you all for being here.